You were in the straws last night then, Mark?
I was in the straw last night, and do I know it? I'm a man of straw all the time.
And tell me, what time did you get to bed last night now?
I got to bed about something, right, in the region now, I say, of 6:15 this morning, and I wouldn't mind being a Strawboy, but the straw even got as far as me eye, it's somewhere got a little tittle, someone hit against me coming out or something, and it's still sore. But did, and I enjoyed it. The old crack, that really was it when we were, you know.
So it's all in a good cause, Martin.
God almighty. Sure, don't it? Exactly, all in a good cause. I'm happy. I'd nearly lose the other eye for it.
Travelling, accommodation, other than Shanksmere market. So they all came by foot, like, east, west, north, south, we'll take the 4 areas. So they came, and everyone tried to do the best they could and to be the nice. And hopefully that wouldn't be known. They dress up as well as, and you know, right, it would be,
And each locality would have their own band?
Their own Strawboys. But the music again was always provided within the house, like, you know, like you didn't...
Strawboys wouldn't have music?
No. We did at times bring it, you know, you'd be thinking that there wouldn't be music within the house, like, but always the music was there. Yeah. It was there, because there was always this hall and home, as you say, you know, and it was the night day.
Now, what exactly was the hauling home now?
It was like coming home to the somehow or another, I don't know why, the girl didn't go home for a month after getting married. And that was usually when the Strawboys was big altogether, you know, the hall and home night.
She'd be returning to her own
home?
To
her own native house, exactly. But also the night of the wedding, you had, it was only an excuse for going there for, you know, the 2 different nights the night.
Now, did you ever hear any Irish word for the Strawboys?
Buckhawks. Buckhawks. Not terribly much used down here around. Buckhawks is, the older people, right.
And where was Buckhawks used as a word for the Strawboys?
Strawboy, well, just be, what you call, maybe more south, I've heard now around Clonaheen, the hand off that part, the south side, you know, very traditional part of Mullock, Miltown area, like, you know, that part, right.
Now, tell me, did the Strawboys appear at any other occasions apart from, say, the wedding or the hauling home?
No, not year round. Not year round. No, there was no other occasion other than the wedding. Right.
Yeah. And who now would go in the Strawboys? Would it be, for instance, would it be all men?
No, possibly women. But be truthful, about the days back in the 30s when I saw it first, it was all men. It was all men. It was like the James nowadays. But it would be within 4 or 5 ploughlands, as we call them, around here. You know, the same. They always had the same type of route, same personnel, like same exactly.
And you'd have men and women, would you?
Not back in the 30s. Nowadays, women were scarce enough going, and even though they used to go. But I'll tell you, in the wedding, the women were invited, you see. Yeah. It was like the country house dances, not changing from the kind of weddings, but women were always invited. Yeah. Men wasn't ever here. They were always, they came of their own accord. And so the women were in the house to meet you there, like, and to go in and dance. And you picked you chose the one thing which you thought would suit your own style of dancing, right? Even though, right, some suit some and some doesn't. That was the idea. But the first Strawboys I saw, it was jigging, as we call it here. The post bail, there was no music in the house. Post music is right. And it was my father that jigged for the first Strawboys I ever saw.
Come back to the question of sort of the personnel in the Strawboys. Who would that be? Like you say that nowadays you'd have women as well as...
Yes, very much so nowadays. Very much so nowadays that you would have women. Like it would. There would be definitely the people that like the bit of cowl and the Irish way. Exactly.
Very good. And would there be any distinction made, say, would it be only married men or women, or only single men or women, or would you have...
It could be anyone. We don't like it could be either sex, either age group, either what you call up and down.
What preparations would be made, or how would the thing be arranged or set up?
So you possibly would be in the wedding now. Like, we'll take, for instance, now a girl down the road there, and a fella got married down. I would be in the wedding, and we would arrange then, we'd meet each other in the evening, and we'd say, well, we'll dress for the Strawboys in such and such a house, the night there of the Hodden home. Or what you call. So we would, there wouldn't turn up, no organisation, nothing. Spontaneous thing up.
And a number of people would get together?
They would, about, that time about 10 or 12, because again, like, the houses, the kitchens were small that time. Well, they were, in fact, they're smaller now, but the flag floor and that. You didn't want to overcrowd out because you didn't have room for the set of four then, like, and the musicians. So you kept it down, a minimum, like, of maximum 15, like, or that, or 10, 12, 15, that was the way we done it. That's the way.
And those 10 or 12 or 15 would come together at one particular spot?
They would, at a house, like, and possibly, I'd say, in there, my own house there now, the back there, I'd say, for that could be 40, 50 weddings in our time, people dressed for them. In my time, down along, back over the years.
And then when they'd come together, they start to dress themselves. Now,
that's right.
What kind of dress would they use?
Well, that was the funny part of it all, because I knew always some great characters involved, and just imagine women's wearables and men's wearables going on women's on men's and this, right? And straw, possibly, if at all possible. And times we hadn't straw, that's, the time of the year, it depends on when they did get married. Yeah, but mostly at that time, it was in straw. They all got married, this was that time, and scarce enough time.
Could you describe the dress of, say, a typical Strawboy?
Well, first and foremost, you didn't go in to town or any place and buy a mask, a special mask. You made your own. You could have got some bit of cloth or something, cut 2 eyes in it, cut mouth, and then put a little bit of possibly you hadn't lipstick or any of those things. You got a bit of soot off the hob or something and put it across it, and you something. So then you try to disguise yourself in every way. If you hadn't a hump, you put a hump in yourself, or if you hadn't a corporation, you try to put it on yourself, right? So you tried to disguise yourself as good as you could. That was the whole idea of that current. So you were very disappointed if someone shouted your name, and now and there you were saying, yeah. And then most of the dancers have their own separate style, like, and you try to go away from that when you were and that was one of the hardest things you could do, like to go away from the, because you'd forget after the first or second figure, and you'd come back, and then you were known. You do some little gimmick with your leg, and that's such and such a one from your name down the road. Yeah, that's it.
Then you'd have the mask on your face. Now, what else would you have on there then?
You could have anything. You could have anything. Definitely men were dressed as women. If there was women with us, they were dressed as men, like, Christ.
And what use was made of the straw then, actually?
They made a sugan of the straw, and they put it around their heads, like, in a little hat in it, and and then little bits across, diagonally, this way and that way, and then covering. I don't know, it was more a disguise than anything, put it up around your...
Did you see people with, say, straw on their chest and on their arms?
Indeed I did. Oh, indeed I did. Yeah.
But it wasn't necessary to have that.
It wasn't necessary. No. The funnier way you dressed, the funnier it was. Like,
Why was it that people didn't want to be known in the straw?
I don't know. It was a part of it. Like, it was something for the people within the house. Saying, that's why they like to see them come at all. To say who was the best to know who. That type of way. The old woman was in the corner. Well, that's such and such a one. That's I know him now. He dances that way. Right. And she'd be surely wrong. And you'd be delighted then, You'd be hearing her calling you some other one, like, and you'd be far from it. You'd be far from it. So then you'd forget yourself again, and you do some little gimmick that you're used to doing, as I said before. Right. Down.
Yeah, you mentioned that how the people of the house looking on in the Strawboys.
Yep,
what kind of a reaction did the Strawboys get from the people of the house?
Great. That was one thing. They were loved. And again, the more of them that came, the better they liked it. Especially. The old women that time were great. They were. They're still great, the women, but they are. But there was some of the Graham Creed that had, they were great.
But they had a welcome for the Strawboys.
They had. Oh, indeed they had, and The bride was very happy to see them coming anyway too, you know.
Yeah.
We were always hoping that the bride would be a good dancer, you know, that everyone loved to dance with the bride.
And it would always happen that the Strawboys would dance with the bride.
Oh, definitely. Oh, that's the surest thing. That's really was it.
Mm-hmm.
That really was it.
And about how long would the Strawboys stay in the house then?
Well, the set takes about, there was 5 figures on the set we used to dance, and that I suppose would take a couple of minutes a figure, like, you know, and maybe a little break in between, because when you're covered, you know, the old breath goes, yes, exactly.
So you dance the set?
You dance the full 5 figures of the set, and you leave, and possibly you'll come out, and there was another group waiting outside the door to go in. And as sure as God, you get mixed up with them and you wouldn't know who was who, because you wouldn't know your own mother outside the door, because she was dressed too, you know, and you were mixed in and you didn't know whether you were going in or coming out, or where you was. Right, sound. But that was funny. And that group, the second group, then was waiting for the third one to come, like, you know, and it's the next meeting there. So there was always 4 or 5 groups.
Well, when people would be getting married then, would they like the Strawboys to come, or would they be sort of wishing they wouldn't come?
They loved it. They loved it. Well, again, there was some that used to have weddings. They wouldn't be too keen on coming. They'd rather to retire early and be what you call.
I see.
Right.
Have a quiet wedding.
Have a quiet wedding. Exactly.
And when people started getting married in hotels and so, then.
Oh, they still came. They still came. No, they didn't come to the hotel when the people came home in the evening. And night, possibly they went on honeymoon then, like when the hotels come in, honeymoons come in. And they came then, if they knew it all the evening, they'd be coming home.
Yeah.
And they would come. And then you had to bring your own music, because it's still going on and on and on, and still going on. I have about nearly 50 years of it done.
Right, and you're doing another one tonight.
And I'm doing another one tonight. Indeed I am. Indeed I am. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Tell me now, did you ever hear of any trouble caused by Strawboys?
Not in this area. No, that was one thing. That was one thing, really. And even if offered a drink within the house, they were always very good. The Strawboys, you know, even though they were masked, and, you know, they'd never done nothing wrong. They came in, they were so good. Yeah. And you'd be offered a drink inside. No, you wouldn't even take it. You'd be offered a cup of tea or something. Yeah. No, out. You didn't take it. You didn't take it. No. People appreciated it. They definitely appreciated it. Even there was teenagers by the score around at the same time, but they're used to it. Right. Yeah. No, I know they never did. Yeah. Maybe you might get a little clout of a stick going out the door, all right. You know, someone would have, you know, for a joke on you that knew you, like, you know. But you took it all in good parts. Yeah, you took it in good parts.
What age would people be when they'd start going in the Strawboys?
At the same time, there wasn't, the young crowd used to go out any place until they were well into their teenage. They wouldn't be allowed out at all at the same time until they were well into their teenage years, like, you know. But it was possibly mostly from the 18 up, 20 up that was in the Strawboys. And mostly the older age group, the married people, they love the night out. They love the old crack too.